Mike Green. I'm the founder of Saving America's Black Boys. I'm also the co-founder and executive director of Scale Up America. We have three main goals. The first goal is to change the economic narrative across Black and urban America. The second goal is to promote inclusive competitiveness as the economic imperative and vision for the 21st century for all Americans. And then the third goal is to connect economically disconnected communities to their local innovation ecosystems. Problem, they don't know what their local innovations ecosystems are. Therefore, we go back to the first priority, which is changing the economic narrative. We need our folks, the ones who have been disconnected historically, so through generations, to understand how a knowledge-based, tech-driven, globally competitive innovation ecosystem works, how to connect to it, how to compete in it. It's simple. The message to young boys and young men of color is to know your history. You have a history of success. You have a history of overcoming the greatest challenges of any demographic anywhere in this country or anywhere in the world. You have a history of competing and winning. You have a history of building schools, building colleges and universities, building businesses, building economic development and communities. You have a history of building strong families and generational wealth. You have a history. Somewhere along the line, we lost that. We lost that connection with our history and who we are as people and how we have overcome in the past and how we can compete on any level at any stage of the game in any era. We have done this for more than 100 years, but in the last 50, in the last 5 decades, somewhere we've had a disconnect. We've lost connection with our previous generations and how they overcame and how they survived and how they not only survived but thrived. So you look today around the country. So now we're not talking about ancient history, we're talking about recent history. You look around the country at the dawn of the 21st century and you see Black men at the pinnacle of every sector in society and a Black family living in the White House. Now you move beyond the White House and go into any sector, go into philanthropy, go into finance, go into technology, and at the pinnacle you see Black men sitting in the seats of power. Bill Gates stepped down as chairman of the board of his own company, Microsoft, that he founded. And who took his place? A Black man, a Florida A&M alum. An HBCU graduate is now sitting in Bill Gates' seat. Do our young people know this? Do we know our success rate and how we can compete on any level in this country? The problem is we're disconnected from the knowledge. We're disconnected from understanding how we can translate our competitive intelligence from the ball field, from the courts, into science, technology, engineering, math. Across the board, we can work together and we can succeed, but we have to inform our young people of who they are, where they've been, and where we are now, today. All they have to see is other people who look just like them, doing what they want to do, what they dream that they can do. That empowers them, that engages them, that gives them an understanding that they can do it too. That's up to us as the parents of these young people. So if we work together, if we collaborate, if we establish a common vision, a common strategy, and a common approach, we can create infrastructure, resources, connect our young people to the knowledge networks and to the capital that they need to build businesses. And we're talking about entrepreneurship, which is the key to building generational wealth, the key to building job growth, the key to economic competitiveness. And this nation needs us because we lead the nation as in entrepreneurial growth at 60%, triple the national average. We, as Black people, know how to compete. And our young people need to know that. Project M.I.S.T.E.R Digital is a fabulous project. It's a fabulous initiative. It's a fabulous effort. Why? Because if you teach a kid to read and write, first of all, if you teach him to read, he can consume knowledge. You teach him to write, he can create knowledge that others consume. In the 21st century, you teach a kid to read code, every kid knows how to read code. But what they're reading is the user experience, the user interface of that code. So they see the games and they play the games, but they're reading code and they're absorbing it and they're engaged in it. But they're not writing code. And if they're not writing code, they're not creating that type of information. They're not creating consumable, monetized information. So we're teaching our kids how to read, but we're not teaching them how to write in 21st century methodology. Project M.I.S.T.E.R Digital is part of that process that we need to give our kids the skills not only to read code, but to write and develop and create, because they're innovative. They're innovators, they're creative, they're geniuses. But if we don't give the geniuses the skills and the tools and the knowledge and the resources and the mentoring that they need and the direction and the discipline, then that genius goes out and finds other ways to manifest itself.